it's such a balance because I am really big on not neglecting yourself as a person, let alone a woman and a mother, because you were a woman before you were a mother, and a lot of moms like neglect themselves. But I did that for so many years, and so I have to remind myself and prioritize what is most important between these two things in the moment, because what is it showing my son, but also what is it doing for me?
Hey, voice community, quick commercial break. Are you running a business and you're looking for a trusted partner to help you brand your business effectively through merch, designs, and branding? I want to introduce you guys to our partners, A Plus Branding, a custom printing shop that takes care of all your branding needs. Located in Santa Paula, California, A Plus Branding specializes in custom t-shirts, hats, stickers, banners, deco, buildings, or window decals. They do it all. They've helped me a lot personally, ensuring that I am representing my business properly, and I recommend you do too. They have a website that you can design your custom items directly to their online store. You can hop on their site, create your design, and place your order in just a few clicks. Whether you need a single item or a bulk order for your business or event with custom stickers, shirts, or a banner for an event, or even embroidered uniform for your team, they got you covered. On top of that, they'll ship your order straight to your door. You can use the promo code VOICED to get 10% off your first orders over $100 to get started. You can head over to their website at www.aplusbranding.com and start designing today. Now back to the show. What is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode here at Voiced Podcast. I'm your host, Charles Sabiaga, and I am thrilled to introduce you guys to one of my good friends that I'm working with that is going to help me expand the vision of what Voiced Now was officially about. So, if you guys have tuned in the past, or maybe you don't know, before I started my agency, I actually created this multiple sections designated to target different industries or niches or just different types of content. Because at the end of the day, I started this journey because I genuinely loved creating content. I loved kind of documenting the other aspects of life, and for me, it feels like it's something that I represent, So I have been talking to a few people about this vision, and as I'm progressing and working with A Plus Branding in my agency, I've been finally able to slowly assemble my Avengers team. I'm just kidding, but it's really cool. I want to introduce you guys to Chanelle Quintinn.
Hi.
She's worked with me with my other clients, being a good-looking model and doing funny and cute stuff. So it's pretty cool to have her in here. Recently, if you tuned in, we just launched a new episode called Voiced Locals with DNF Market. Right? Why don't you go say hi to everybody at the podcast?
Dated and Faded.
Dated and Faded. What did I say?
DNF. But some people don't know what DNF is.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Dated and Faded.
To be specific. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
My bad. Okay, cool.
Well,
welcome to the show, Chanelle. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Me and Chanelle just finished shooting some videos also for another brand that I have her working with. And we just came back from Printing United. Why did I make
Expo.
that mistake? How did you like that experience?
I liked it. It was super informative. When I first walked in, I was like, why is everybody making it so complicated? It's just printers and you print, on paper, on poster boards, on clothing. But there was so much more.
So you weren't overwhelmed, like I mentioned?
I wasn't overwhelmed. I just kind of took it in, and even if I didn't learn the actual skill, I learned about it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
That was the goal. I didn't expect you to learn more about it or specific skills to it, because that's more on the production side.
Yeah.
I wanted you to understand or see the expansion of it.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool working here, and for me at least, I feel grateful to be able to work with A Plus and its future projects, and having you on board like that. I mean, dude, you're a cool gal. So
Thanks.
super cool to have you. So again, welcome to the show, guys. So she is a super cool model, a content creator. She's an actress. She is just a hardworking individual.
Yeah.
right?
Dabbled a little bit, still dabbling a little bit in fashion. My mama.
And you're also a
Yeah.
business owner.
And I'm a business owner as
you have your
well.
own business for
Yeah.
10 years now.
Going on 11.
Damn. So how do you balance it all? I gotta ask.
It's a little bit difficult, but you manage. You feel a little scatterbrained,
Yeah.
honestly. But originally, like, the concept that I had with my business is obviously kind of like, I don't know if people know what like an index account is, but basically it's like it grows and then it coasts, but you can't like fail. And then when it's time to grow again, it grows, but
You
it can't
grow,
fail.
for sure.
So that was kind of the concept that I had with my business while, and like let that coast while I do the model, acting, fashion stuff.
Nice. So you took advantage of those downtimes. So you understood there were seasons to your business.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So cool. I think it would be cool to hear about your story. But for anybody, if I didn't describe you well enough, let's get into a little about you. For all our listeners, tell them about you and your background.
My background, like,
Yeah,
with
like where you started.
like work.
Shit, if you want to start a little from where you were from the womb.
So
Go for it.
first, at 4:20 in the morning, here I was in this elevator. No, I guess let's start with business, maybe pre-baby. I was a behavioral therapist.
Okay.
And then once I had my son, I was obviously still doing behavioral therapy. But the hours were crazy, which is not, I can deal with long hours. I do long hours now, but I was not able to really raise my baby. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a mom. And one day I was getting my own lashes done.
Okay.
And I was talking to this girl who was doing my lashes. And I literally I laid there, I guess. And I thought, like, I can do this. And I can do it in between, like, I nursed my son, like, do it in between naps and nursing. And it just kind of started off as something that I wanted to do to make money. You know, it wasn't supposed to be my business like that.
Right.
And then went through a little bit of a, tough course with the separation / breakup. And it just kind of took off at the most perfect, profound time. And I was like, well, this is it. And it got me my home and provided for me and my son and more.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
That. So what you're telling me is you found that what you were doing as a career was not giving you enough time, and then you dabbled into a little bit of a side gig, which turned into a full-time business. Right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then how did that, how at what point did you realize that, hey, this was something that I want to do for myself?
I don't think I did realize it. I was just kind of like ignorance on fire. I was running.
Oh, I love
like,
that.
I was just running
Yeah.
and like, this is making me money. But in addition to that, it started kind of coming together. Like, people were coming to me. I was talking to them. I was also doing ministry at the time.
Okay.
And so they would come to me and they would talk to me about all these things. And then I would just tell them what I thought. And they'd come back and they'd be like, I did the thing and it worked out for me. And I'm like, oh, shoot. So now I'm this therapist, now I'm this therapist. And I grew to like love my girls and see them grow into bigger things. And it really, I had to have like this moment of, what are you doing? And how did it turn into this? And I didn't even realize that it turned into that. It just did. And now here I am. And I'm like, I didn't even, who would have thought?
So would you say that you kind of just rode through the process and you felt fulfilled with it? Because normally we wouldn't do something we don't like, right? So obviously you felt aligned with it and you decide, hey, you know what? This is something I can apply to my life.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I love that. So now you're also doing acting and modeling, right? Has that something, I know you told me in the past, but like tell us how that came about and how you're integrating it with your life. I don't know if that's the right word.
Yeah, I guess integrating. I actually started when I think I was like 6 or 7, and it started, my mom used to work at this place on base called the Navy Exchange.
Okay.
And they were having just like this fun little fashion show, and everybody was like Josie's daughter, like put her in there. I don't
Yeah.
know what I'm doing. When you're little, you don't really know fear, you know, in that way.
Yeah.
And they put me on there. They told me what to do. Stop here, do this and do this.
How old
and
were
I just
you at the
went.
time?
I was like 6 or 7.
6 or 7? Okay.
And I just did what they said. I went to
Nice.
go do it. Came back. Everybody was so excited. And I was like, I don't get it, but okay, people love this.
Yeah.
They love this, you know? And then I kept doing stuff like that, like, I guess, recreationally.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then I started to see that it was hurting the feelings of certain people around me. And when you're small, you kind of don't really understand that. You just see like, this is making me doing something is making people that I love feel
Uncomfortable?
or something negative. And so I stopped thinking it was bad.
Gotcha.
But I would always get picked up to do things along the way, and I would always push it away. Like, nope, I remember this made my so-and-so sad, or this person feel
Right.
uncomfortable.
So you think you could have pursued that earlier if you had never attached or defined that experience as something negative because you didn't want to make people feel that way.
Yeah, I didn't want to make people feel
Yeah.
uncomfortable, especially if you love those people.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You don't want to
yeah.
hurt people.
So how did that change now? I mean, I imagine like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
It seems like you have a very good sense of self-awareness.
Yeah.
You understood
do
it
now,
that's
yeah.
how you felt. But at the time you didn't. So what changed now, you know?
Honestly, I started it was like more towards the end of the pandemic. I started going to church in LA,
Okay.
and you know, when you're getting to know people, they're like, "What do you do? What do you know, what you start chit-chatting."
Yeah.
And I remember telling multiple people, I'm like, "I have my own business, I do this," and they just kind of looked at me like strangely, and I was like, they're like, "You have your own business?" And I'd be like, "Yeah." They're like, "No, I thought I saw you in a commercial," and I'm like, that would be dope, but it wasn't me. It wasn't me. They're like, no, yeah. I'm like, I promise I would know.
You do have a
I
very
would know.
aesthetic model look. I think if
Yeah.
anybody, I mean, the first time I met you was through a production in the Collab District. Shout out Cabby for that introduction.
Yeah.
But yeah, you did have that model look.
Yeah. So
It's
I
like, oh,
thought,
she must be a model.
I thought maybe like, I don't know who, maybe I look like somebody, you know? And then people started reaching out to me, asking me to be in their this, and then a production in that. And I work on this show, and I'd be like, that is so cool. That you like, what do you do on there? And I don't know the terms, you know? They're like,
Yeah.
I do lighting. And I'm like, I don't know what that means.
So you were fascinated with just the
Yeah.
creativity side and just production.
And people started pulling me in. I didn't know it was something that was difficult or hard. It was just kind of happening.
Gotcha.
And then they started getting me plugged into like networks and different things like that. And before I knew it, I was on all kinds of cool shows.
Yeah.
All kinds of cool shows. And then getting pulled into like LA Fashion Week and a multitude of different things, you know?
She doesn't want to disclose. Okay, so what you can disclose, what are some of the things that you enjoyed? Like, really, like, oh, this was a memorable moment.
Because this one has already aired,
Okay. Damn, I just wish we can explain some of or describe some of those.
it's All American. The show's called All American.
Okay.
It's about football. Prior to being on it, I had not watched it. I'd never heard of it. I just don't really like watch TV. I
same here.
like Nat Geo and like watching the ocean and stuff. I just like
You're a
watching
nature
weird
girl.
stuff like that. Horses, you know. And so I had not watched it until I was on it, like I said. But being on it, it was a lot of fun. The hours sucked. Oh my gosh.
Really?
I think, yeah, I was on it until multiple times until like 3 a.m, close to 3 a.m. And I played a cheerleader in college.
Okay.
So I had this little cheer outfit on, and the scene is a rain scene, and so they came in with like a rain, I guess like a rainmaker, and everybody's like wet, and you have to do the take over and over,
Wow.
and it sucked, and they tried to keep us as dry as possible. A lot of the cheerleaders stayed dry, but it was freezing. It was like 40 degrees, 2, 1, 2.
Was it
3.
outdoors?
We were at the Rose Bowl.
Oh, okay, okay.
We filmed
Wow.
at the Rose Bowl. And in the moment, you're like, this sucks. I'm so cold. And, you know, you complain. I complain. I'm not really a complainer, but I was complaining. So that's how I knew, like, I'm over this. I'm over this. But afterwards, you're like, I would do that again so many times.
Yeah.
It's enjoyable. And that's when I remember thinking, like, I had already done it a few times for different shows, but I was like, yeah, I want to keep doing this. This is fun. I really enjoy it. And I found myself, like, every time I would get a text from productions, like,
Yeah, you just got to
looking for.
Watch out, guys.
I know. I'm so excited. I'm nervous for that one too, but we'll see where that goes. We'll talk about that another time.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's
But-
exciting to see and hear about your journey.
Yeah.
Working with you closer now and seeing those texts, I'm like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
It's nothing more than I love seeing my friends and close people, you know, circles just win.
Succeed.
You know, I love
Yeah.
seeing I love celebrating their success.
Celebrating other people's wins. Yeah. I feel like if you're not celebrating other people's wins, like, what kind of person
I mean,
are
you
you?
celebrate
You know?
yourself, right?
You celebrate yourself, yeah, but you want to have those people.
For
you
sure.
know?
It always helps out too. I mean, for me, I always feel like if I'm not getting people closer to where they want to be in life, then I feel like I'm doing a disservice.
Yeah, totally.
You know, so the least I can do is be supportive as much as possible. You know,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I really admire your work ethic. I think from out of all the women that I talked to a lot recently as far as conversation, you've been on it. You're driving
Thanks.
all the way from Palmdale, like 3-4 times a week. So
I
just to give you guys a little
know.
context, she forced me to share locations with her now.
It's because we have a bromance now,
Yeah.
you know?
Whatever.
It's got to be like that.
But what's it called? I'm looking at her freaking location when she's texting me for something, and she's at Palmdale, and then all of a sudden she's at LA. I'm like, girl. One day she was at Camarillo. Can you bring me fries? And then she brought me fries. So shout out to you.
I'm just like that, you know? I'm that friend.
Love it, love it. But yeah, no, I really admire your work ethic.
Thanks.
You're open to a lot of stuff. You're receptive. You may not know exactly what to do, but hey, I want to figure it out.
Yeah, I'm a
I fuck
learner.
with that. And I think with those values that you stand for, it can take you to places.
Yeah.
You know, and I think
Yeah, totally.
I can see why people want to work with you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, you know, and credit is given where it needs to be given, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, so as far as that end, I mean, with your business too, I mean, and you got a kid,
Yeah.
right, who's growing and maturing, learning himself, and you're trying to make sure that he's not exposed to the wrong things.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Like, how are you balancing all this stuff? You know, like, what's your method?
I kind of categorize him and he's his own category and him like his growth, you know,
Yeah,
but my
good.
business is its own category. But sometimes you got to mesh the two. And that's what's really beautiful about like working for yourself, having your own business. It's really cool because I bring him with, I can probably count on my fingers and toes how many times he's not been with me at work. I take him to work with me every day, except with the exception of the other stuff, you know. Actually, more recently, we'll talk about that later. I did get to work with him on a short
I
film.
know, yeah. Okay. I don't know if
was
it's the
pretty
same one.
cute.
Was it that one where you guys looked like you got
Beat up, yeah. I played his mom, so it was a really emotional like thing, you know. It was
Okay.
emotional, but yeah, with my business, I can take him.
That's pretty cool. I mean,
Yeah.
I imagine, you know, I don't recall many times where my parents have, you know, involved me in their work or passion projects. Maybe my mom a few times when she was working to become more a hairstylist, but very little. So I think it's cool that you're bringing your son to experience that.
Yeah. I think it's really cool. Like the business part of it, I always thought like just based off of how he is as a person, I know he's still a child, but
Oh, he's an active child. He's
He's-
a curious child.
he's curious in a way that makes me so tired. And he's a boy, but it's fine. You gotta let him, you know. But I think it's cool because he gets to experience like more business. And when I ask him like what he wants to do, he says all kinds of different things. He never says sitting behind a desk. Or which there's nothing wrong with that. If that's your jam, that's your jam. But I see how he is, and he his mind is more expanded. It's not narrowed like this is what I'm gonna have to do when I'm older. It's like you can whatever you like. You
Love
know,
that.
there's no like limit.
I fuck with that so much.
Yeah.
Okay, so wait, I want to go back into that because I think there's this notion, and I'm not sure if you are aware of it, but parents tend to, I wouldn't say give up on their dreams, but rather feel like they have to, attach themselves to standards, quote unquote, in
Yeah.
order to, feed their kids.
Oh yeah.
Right? So, but like clearly
Honorable though.
yeah, and it's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with it, right? I'm just a big advocate for, never settling for less, pursuing your passion, and it looks like that's something that you're doing while you're
Definitely.
doing that. I mean, what's your intake on just having that, decision making factor
For myself or like for him.
for you and him? Yeah, 'cause you have to consider both
Yeah.
your needs
And
and his
his.
development.
Yeah, it could be a little bit rough because there's so many components to raising a boy and raising him into a man, and then he sees me in the beauty industry,
Yeah.
you know, and so all he sees are lashes and beauty things and stuff like that all day. And so when he was younger, he would ask me like, "Mom, teach me how to do lashes." I'd be like, "No, I mean, I guess if you know," but I would always tell him like, "You could do whatever you want as long as it's good," because
You don't want to fall into evil.
to a child, yeah, they don't know the
Yeah.
direction sometimes depending on the child. It's really I'll stick like with him. It really comes down to seeing who he is as a person and guiding him in that direction and being an example in like a structured way for him, but not influencing him to be like me or to do what I do, because I see that too.
Right, right,
like
right.
say if like a family opens a business of some sort, and again, not that there's anything wrong with this, but they expect them to come in and just kind of take over, which is it's kind of cool because it's kind of like legacy.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
you
yeah.
continue it, but sometimes that's not what they want to do, and I feel like it compresses who they are as a person and like their passions and their desires and authenticity too.
Love that. So
Yeah.
in a way, in essence, you leave openness for them to be a part of if
Yeah.
they want to, and
Yeah.
you kind of allowed that because hey, like, and I also think that like hey, like they see you're passionate about it and they see you're happy, like hey, mom, what that makes you happy? I want to see what makes you happy.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Yeah.
I love it when I love seeing other people passionately pursue their things because I see a different aura is a term that people are
Yeah.
using nowadays, right? People are radiating a different aura or
Yeah.
frequency. My little bro likes to say, and I love seeing that, and you can feel that, So
Yeah.
I imagine your son probably feels that with you.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
about for yourself?
totally.
I mean, how do you differentiate? I can't make that. I have to make the sacrifice for myself in order to make fun. How do you differentiate those thought process?
It's such a balance because I am really big on not neglecting yourself as a person, let alone a woman and a mother, because you were a woman before you were a mother, and a lot of moms like neglect themselves
that.
and they pour that they're basically pouring from fumes. They're running on fumes,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's empty. And so
And there's nothing wrong with if you have
Yeah.
that mother instinct, right?
yeah, totally. But I did that for so many years. And so I have to remind myself and prioritize what is most important between these two things in the moment, because what is it showing my son, but also what is it doing for me? And so it depends on it depends what it is, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, you mentioned there's a difference between being a woman and being a mother, right? Can you expand a little bit about that? What you mean?
Yeah. So like my role as a mom is to love my son and guide him and help him to be the best and highest him that he can possibly be with my guidance. Once that's exhausted, you got to find like a mentor or something, you
Yeah,
know
yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean? However, long I can guide him towards that. And instill morals, values, structuring his character while allowing his personality to still blossom.
Okay.
But that's me as a mom, but me as a woman, I'm such a wildflower. And so me being,
You could be very spontaneous.
yeah, I'm a wildflower and I'm
Yeah.
super social and, like me as a woman is different from me as a mom.
Yeah.
And so sometimes like when my son is seeing me just being a woman, he's like, why are you doing that? And I'm like, because this is who I
This
am
is
as
what
a person,
women
but there's
things do.
nothing wrong with it. Yeah, but it's so foreign to
Yeah.
him,
I imagine as a boy.
Yeah, especially as a boy, but then in that same context, it really makes you check yourself more because you want him to gravitate, or not gravitate, but I guess understand more or less what a woman that values herself looks like.
Wow, that's very powerful. So you're telling me that you're also considering the possibilities of him perceiving what a woman who values herself or who sees herself in this light.
Yeah, I
Wow.
don't. Yeah, I think
That's
it's really
interesting.
important. I think.
So I mean, I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you also taking that in when you're building relationships, because or meeting people and how you represent yourself professionally?
Yes. Yes. And sometimes people want to blur the lines.
What do you
It's
mean by
so
blurring the
hard.
lines?
Like relationship versus like we'll say like a work, a professional relationship.
Individuality. Okay.
And sometimes you can, like, if you're like we're friends, but we also know how to be professional. So you know what I mean?
Oh
Like,
yeah, yeah. Actually, that's really good. That's a good distinction also because you know I think a lot of people confuse that, right? They have to be entangled. That's why I'm very
yeah.
careful when understanding. Hey, this is my business values.
Yeah.
This is my personal values. My personal values: spontaneous, goofy. I say stupid shit.
Yeah. Same. Same.
On my professional value, my business professional, accountability, work ethic, transparency, right? Like all these
The
stuff.
recipes for success. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's good that you are aware of those. A lot of people are operating through life without very understanding those.
Yeah.
So, would you say that like these values that you have about yourself, going for more, making sure that you represent yourself well, not just as a female, right, but also as a human, just an individual by yourself. Has this something that's always been within you, or was this something that you acquired learning from other people? Any mentors?
It's always, I remember thinking like this when I was really little,
Okay.
honestly, and I don't know.
When you were modeling and doing acting, or no? I don't know.
Probably that little. I remember having profound thoughts and being like, where did I get that from?
Your frontal brain just developed out of nowhere.
I just was born wise, born with wisdom. I'm just kidding. But obviously, as you grow older, you learn things, and what you perceived when you were younger, it's still kind of, it's just grown, and it becomes a little bit more fine tuned and depth.
Yeah. Were you listening to stuff, or what did you do to develop those growth?
I was an observer.
Observer.
A lot of people would like label or perceive me as being a shy kid, and I wasn't really shy. I just was observing, and not in a way where I was judging people. I was just piecing it together and seeing like, oh, that's this and paired with this action, but can it look different? And then you apply it to
Yeah.
yourself,
Yeah.
So I was doing that very, very young, and I don't know if everybody does it. I would assume so.
So you have a way of piecing puzzles together. I also feel that you have this ability to understand that you can be perceived as someone who doesn't know a lot.
Yeah.
Like you can come into the room kind of acting dumb in a way. Not to say that obviously you are, but I'm saying like
I
you can I feel like you have this ability to come in there, act like you don't know much.
I do, and it's not because of ill intent. I have had a lot of people in the past who, I guess, to your face, haven't. Well, I guess that's not integrity, right? My intent is to see how people are as people, because character is so big for me, and especially when you have a child, and maybe the profession that you're in, people perceive it as something kind of that it's not.
I remember, you mentioned, when you were modeling and stuff.
Yeah. And so I will often walk into a room and see, and I'll just kind of, again, I'm observing and I'm seeing the way people speak to me. And I tell my son all the time, you speak to the janitor and the CEO exactly the same. You don't treat one different than you do the other.
That's true. I know a lot of successful people that share similar values.
Yeah. It says a lot about you as a person. And again, you want to be picky and choosy with who you're allowing into your life.
Yeah.
In all areas. And so I do. I often walk into a room and I'll observe and I'll just let people,
Feel
let
how they
the
think.
uh-huh.
That's
Yeah.
good though, because a lot of people, and the reason why they feel the need to try to represent or come up or show up as if they're intelligent or credible or whatever it is. I think it has to do a lot with ego.
Oh yeah.
Right? They feel the need to be validated first. So they, hey, look at my car. Hey, look at my clothes.
Yeah.
Hey, look at my voice. Look
Yeah.
at my talent, right?
Yeah.
But you don't come off like that. You
Thanks.
let your actions talk.
Yeah.
What
That's
are your
important.
thoughts on the ego side?
I think you have to have a healthy ego. You can't think nothingness of yourself, because people say like, oh, you got to be humble, but that doesn't mean thinking trash
Yeah.
about yourself.
Yeah.
You still have to know who you are authentically, and you show up as that. You have to
Yeah.
show up as who you actually are when the time presents itself.
Yes. I always say, I'm always humble enough to know that I am the shit.
Yeah.
But I'm also, what's the other phrase that I came up with? But I'm also humble. Oh, sorry, the other way. I'm humble enough to know that I ain't shit, but I'm confident enough to know that I am the shit.
You are the shit. Yes.
So it's a
Oh,
good
that's so good. I love
balance.
that. I love it. I'm
Yeah.
gonna use that later.
So that's awesome. I want to talk about something that you mentioned the other day that I thought about today, and I thought that it made sense. It may or may not be true when it comes down to, physical or science. It might just be some spiritual shit. But you talked about discernment, right? So I was listening to this podcast, and there was this guy. His name's Alex Ramosi. He was mentioning that he learned from his wife that she's very good at picking people, building people up, because she has this ability to, pick just who just has good intentions, right? Discernment, which is
Yeah.
what you mentioned.
Yeah.
And he mentioned something that I thought that was pretty interesting. He said that physically or historically, right, women tend to be very good at that because they come like they have a womb, right? So physically or in a nature aspect, they need to
Yeah.
find someone that they can really trust. So they have to raise their ability to learn how to trust people easily, so they don't get they don't get
Yeah.
fucked over,
Yeah.
right? But for men, they have seeds, so they can they can fire that anywhere, and so their goal is to get that seed out. So they're very good at promoting. And I thought that was really interesting.
I've never heard it
Yeah, I just heard that
delivered
today.
like that. That's so cool.
I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
But going back to what you said about having a proper discernment, right? Can you
Yeah.
dive into a little bit about that?
I think women are very intuitive. some are a little bit more intuitive than others,
you're right.
depending on their wisdom and their age and the things that they've gone through. But generally, women are pretty intuitive. I personally can like feel things without anything being said, and I can feel, maybe you would call them wounds
Okay.
or like hurt things. And sometimes it's a little bit of a process. You kind of have to like build it up and remind them, hey, you're here and you're this.
Yeah, yeah.
More than walking them through, oh, why are you hurt? Or why, you know what I mean? It's like, hey, let me remind you that you're here.
Love that.
And that it sometimes it's a major shift in people. And then they remember like, oh yeah, I remember who the fuck I am. That's right. And that plays a major part in their integrity. I feel like it does. Obviously, not everybody is my project to be doing that with, but I think it's important to give people a good experience with you. And so whoever you encounter, you gotta, at least if you can't add to them, you don't devalue them.
Yeah.
And so
I try not to.
Yeah. I think
Actually,
most people
devalue
don't.
I think it just comes off wrong because people, can't take accountability.
You use a different method, but it's not with ill intent.
No. Never.
But I do think that discernment, and then the mind shift within like a woman specifically, and realizing not everybody's my project and not everybody's my person to build.
I love that. So you have that gauge, the option to kind of gauge it.
Yeah, because I'd be there all day,
I also feel like, a lot of people has lost that intuition.
Yeah.
I think they've lost to learn how to trust themselves, right? Because, we do have, I would say, receptors that allow us to kind of read people. We're all made out of energy, if you think about it, right? Atoms and shit, right?
Yeah.
So, like, if you break us down, we're connected. Like, even though you're sitting right there through this floor, we're connected.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah,
this is where all these spiritual people, I'm not very spiritual or religious, but I do believe that there's that metaphysical connection.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Some deep shit, sorry.
Yeah, we're just
Random
diving right
deep
in.
shit. Oh no,
Just not even testing the waters. We're just like, just jump in. It's fine.
I don't know. Sometimes I do this. But anyways, super cool. I love learning that about you, and I'm glad that you're able to share a little about that, because I think a lot of people just see you as the pretty, aesthetic kind of representation on your Instagram. You have a very aesthetic feed.
I like it.
Selection. I remember we were talking about it. I want it to look like this. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. I do. I like it. For a long time, I focused on like the inside part, and I was like almost neglecting everything about the outside. And I was like, it looks messy out here, girlfriend. Like, get yourself together.
Yep.
And that was part of the like, don't neglect yourself as a person / woman. Like, be a woman. You know.
Yeah.
And so that's where that started to come into play. And I was like, if people think it's shallow, it is what it is. I know I carry substance, and that's that.
That's good.
It's
good to be able to know and know what you carry.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Well, I want to transition into our project in here. So as you know, and you've met some of the people that I work with in here, right? We explored this branding process. Now I'm making you the face. We literally shot the video, making the face of this brand where, we're going to create stickers and stuff like that, right? I'm just curious. I know you work with a lot of brands and stuff, but to me, it seems like you're pretty invested.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
Yeah. What day are you coming? I come this day.
She calls a shot now, guys.
No, I don't. We work together. We collab.
What's your overall like intake or I guess experience with this branding experience? I mean, literally with Voice now, we our goal is to tackle like brands, right, and stuff, and to understand the stories behind. Because literally, to me, brands are just stories, right?
Yeah.
It's just businesses are just groups of people with stories to solve a problem.
Authentic. Yeah.
So like in here, you're in this process where we get to be a part of that storytelling process. You want me to put you on the spot?
I'm like, so
but
wait, what's the question? Tell me the question.
Your experience, like, I mean, what do you feel overall?
Honestly, I have a lot of fun.
Okay,
I have a lot of fun,
good.
but there's a
I'm
lot
glad
of
you didn't say it was boring.
no. Honestly, I can make anything fun. No,
Good.
but a lot of that, if I'm the one making it fun, that means I'm carrying a lot of like the fun components, you know. But when you walk into a space and you're like, this is fun, and everyone's contributing to it, it means you have a really good team. And I feel like that sums it up. No, but a lot of it honestly is a team. The people that you work with, their knowledge, even their people skills, how you are in relationship with them, because you can obviously have fun without the work ethic component, and I feel like they all tie in, and it's productive. And people really know what they're talking about, and they know how to get along with each other. And if there's an issue, it's like, hey, let's figure it out.
So you love that component of working or building something. I also have this drive that one of the things that keep me going or like pushing through stuff or sticking to a vision is the fact that I'm building something bigger than myself.
Yes.
I love that idea, which is what keeps, like, for everything I do right now.
Yeah, that's how you build.
The podcast, the platform, my agency, the creative stuff. It's because of that reasoning.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for example, we did that one video that kind of blew up with the green
box,
right?
Yeah.
Shit.
Was
You were
so...
getting, what did they call you?
I don't even know how that happened.
Someone commented who they thought you were. What was it? What was the comment? You can bring
was
it up.
Was it a man that commented?
They said that
he said something like is that Megan Fox?
Oh,
is that the one that you're talking about?
Yeah,
I was like, you guys are so nice.
that video did really
me.
well,
Yeah.
How did you feel about that experience? I mean, you've done stuff like that before, right? Usually you're just kind of the face, good looking model, but now I asked you to be more vocal, to represent it, because you have that image, you have that identity that matches who they might be trying to serve. How did that experience, feel for you? It
was not that I didn't expect it to be what it is. I was hoping that it would, but because I know that they're a family-owned small business, and you always want people to succeed, for a multitude of reasons. Like, I can go down a never-ending list, but I also live a healthy lifestyle, and I mean, who doesn't like salads, right?
I actually prefer. I mean, I don't eat a lot of salads. Probably why my mom.
But there's protein. There's protein in it. But
that was good. Shout out to the green box. They want to work again and do some stuff. So they're doing well. I love seeing small businesses grow. Like, if money. I always tell people, if we get to this conversation, that if there was no money involved, there's no currency required, and I could do this, I would totally do it, because I love the ability to be able to become a bridge or to create that for them. I love seeing something grow bigger than myself. Going back into those values.
That was definitely with my answer. That's definitely the route I was trying to go.
I just put it. I just took the words out of your mouth.
Yeah, you did.
I
You're
did.
just finishing my
sentence. I tend to do that to people. Okay, cool. Obviously, we did that one video with Dated and Faded, since you want me to pronunciate that. Shout out to Ryan Byron, by the way.
Yeah.
With that interview, I appreciate you for, being open to this idea that we can expand on that. Because, a while back, that was a mission of mine before I even started my agency. I wanted to really captivate or capture these voices that we don't get to see. I know I can't do this to everybody. This podcast, also it takes a lot of my time. I don't have that team. I don't have that freaking money.
Not yet.
Yes, thank you, to be able to produce that. However, I can create something that can create a win-win for everybody. And I think this was an approach that I'm happy to be part of, and A+ supports it as well. Because, they are, they provide a bunch of stuff that we can utilize. So it's pretty cool. Yeah. So what I mean with this project that we're doing, our project is to target local events, businesses, communities, and really hear your voice when it comes down to it. How do we build something bigger? How do we build for and advocate for each other, right? And that's always been the message, or part of the message that I've been trying to create in this thing. You know, so I'm grateful to have people like you that can also help build that, because I understand I can't build everything by myself. You know,
Yeah.
so
Sorry, there was so much. I'm trying to pick some.
well, that's okay. I say a lot of shit.
Yeah.
You know, so when it comes down to that, I think with this project that we are occupying, I mean, what are some things that I mean, you know, now that you've agreed to it, you've agreed, you agreed to it, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay, good.
But you
What-
say it like you forced me or
I,
something.
I just want to make sure, you know, guys, like
Yeah.
you don't see a gun to her head.
No, I
Okay, good,
agreed to
good.
this. Yeah.
What are some things that you're looking forward for with this project?
I think essentially what it's about, and then getting into the details of it, because like you said, it's about a lot of these like voices of the community, and even though most of them, I want to say 97% of them have a platform via media, not everybody, not everyone is seeing their media. And so I think it branches out into other areas and other people that may not be seeing their stuff specifically.
Yeah.
And it's one thing to put it on your own media, but it's another when other people are sharing it. It feels a lot more profound. And I feel like it pushes them to a different capacity as well, because they're not just feeling it, but they're seeing, I'm growing, and more people are seeing this, and more people, there's more attraction, and there's more action, and there's more traffic. There's just more things going on. And so I think when you're growing, it does catapult you. You know what I mean? In your own internal like make.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
that's always the best part, right? Seeing other people growth. But
That's my
I also
favorite.
think, you know, with this thing, I mean, building a business is hard,
Yeah, I know.
you know?
Yeah.
And having that extension to know that you have these resources, you know, I try to make this to the point where I'm not charging people. I mean, I literally built this page a while back with the intent to just be able to platform other people and give them that connection to my connection, but also even my clients. You know, that was the
Yeah.
other strategic aspect of me. If I had a client and I needed them to be able to tap into a different or a larger network, shit, I had something that I built.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah,
I guess it's the marketer in me that kind of flows.
That's your niche, huh? That's
Yeah,
your
it
niche
is.
right
It
there.
is. So I think there's a lot of things in here. Okay, so with this idea, what do you what do you feel that we can create? I mean, is there any directions that you feel that we can take?
I'm like, oh man. Honestly, I feel like because it's not so much my niche, I can take what maybe you come at me with and expand on those areas.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? But as far as the direction part of it,
She's basically just open to me making the recommendations.
yeah, and then I can explore it. You know what I mean? Like in a like different like an organized manner. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm the
yeah, yeah.
organization here.
Yeah, I'm the I like to organize or create the
You're like the
infrastructure.
vision.
I like to
Yeah.
create the infrastructure.
Yeah,
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 you
yeah.
can say I'm also the very vision builder
Yeah.
kind of guy, you know. But I definitely like to work and collaborate with others that can also build their platform. You know, I mean,
Yeah,
shit.
that's expanding.
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
So like as you're helping other people to expand, you're also expanding, but it's still with the intent of helping them, and that's kind of like the cool thing,
Yeah.
you know, in that selfless thing. you grow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited for that. I don't know what else we're gonna do. I mean, maybe other businesses might support us and sponsor a part of these things. Maybe we'll work with local creatives to put projects together. I
All
don't
of
know what
it.
it is.
All of it. Yeah.
That spontaneity alone, to me, is exciting.
Yeah.
I don't
The
know.
unknown. How's it going to come together?
Me not
Yeah.
knowing what I don't know excites me, guys. So
Yeah. But all good things, though, like, I just feel like nothing, as long as you keep going, and this goes for anything, like, you keep going, good things are bound to happen,
yeah.
I feel like you can't really fail.
I also imagine it's a transition or for you because you're used to just being on the camera and just kind of being told what to do, but now you have to operate under your own voice and really you're in a freaking podcast,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I mean, it's cool. I'm just going.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you want to know? I'm an open book. I'll tell you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm excited also to hear discoveries that you make for yourself, personal, insights or developments that come along the way because, we grow seeing through other people's lens.
Yes, totally. Different perspective.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I think we have a lot of introduction in here. Is there anything that you'd like to add on for any listeners before I start to pivot towards the ending?
No.
Okay. Cool. I think you've said a lot. I mean, I'm glad I got to poke your brain a little more. This is a different interaction because
Yeah.
me and her are usually kind of like, this, do this. We're kind of goofy with each other,
Poking at each other.
So I appreciate you for taking the time to get on this podcast.
Yeah.
With that, guys, look forward to some of the episodes that we're gonna create. Maybe a minimum at least once a month. We'll do something to kind of put that together. If anybody wants to collaborate or put something together, we're an open book. For the time being, this is kind of this is what I feel this platform can extend to, and also in hopes of just representing a voice and extending that voice to other people who feel that they don't have that voice,
Yeah.
So, for anybody tuning in though, if they want to connect with you, let's just get your details down. So how can they connect with you?
On my social media,
Yeah,
my
for your
Instagram.
business, for a model, or maybe they want to hire you for videos and pictures.
It's all it's all on my Instagram.
Okay.
But my Instagram is at Chanelle Quintinn, ChanelleQuintinn.
Okay. I thought it was only one N.
Well, my actual last name is one N, but my Instagram is two N's.
Oh, someone took it?
You know what? I think I created a separate Instagram account for my modeling and acting stuff where I didn't put my son on there because you just never know, you know?
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah.
Cool. I totally forgot I was going to say. Oh, why don't you have like a media kit or something like that where it showcases,
I should, huh?
Yeah, you should.
I've
like
been-
a website or something, about yourself.
I've been meaning
done so
to,
much.
and one of my best friends always offers to do it for me, but I feel so lost and I don't know how to do it. And she's like, it's just this, and this, and I'm just like, what?
Well,
Send help.
yeah.
Somebody do it for me. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah,
You got to start
but
somewhere for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
We'll help you out with that. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, I don't like making websites myself. I actually try to avoid it. One of my friends just reached out and said, "Can you help me make a website?" I'm like, I'm already making a lot of websites for A Plus Branding's customers and their verticals, and I'd prefer not to.
The answer is no. So there's that.
Yeah. But if you guys do have questions on the website, I can help you out. I'm always I like to be a resource if you need me. Don't bug me if you don't need me. Just Anyways, thank you for being on the episode.
Yeah, thank
For
you.
anybody tuning in, thanks for listening. We'll see you guys on the next episode. Hey, voice community, thank you so much for being a supporter of this platform. Our goal is to establish a platform where we can represent voices that empower others to be more, do more, and have more. We advocate for a message to voicing what matters. Through our platform, we dedicate our content through the voices of creators, leaders, communities, and organizations. We vocalize messages and stories representing aligning values through many people's stories. We want to provide content for others who feel like they have no voice or don't feel like they have a direction, feel lost, or need guidance. And through others' voices, we believe that everyone is deserving to pursue a lifestyle that they get to create. We appreciate any support you give to keep our platform growing. If you find value in the content we put out, you can subscribe to our channel or follow us on the podcast platform you're listening to. It really does go a long way, so we appreciate every help you can give us. Thanks again for supporting our platform. We hope to see you guys for the next episode.